A couple of years ago, I was in Vermont. I was on a long walk and noticed dandelions everywhere. In Vermont, you are encouraged to honor the needs of native, indigenous, and naturalized plants, to move away from the imposed monoculture idea of European grasses in favor of honoring the native ecosystems. So you have fields full of interesting plants and flowers growing up together along with grasses as they do naturally and are largely unmowed. By the way, that green lawn smell, it's a trauma response by the grass when we mow our lawns. They are instead cared for by the local wild and domesticated animals and insects along with the owners of the fields. It's a cooperation of life. This encourages all kinds of bugs and pollinators to multiply. Insects are required for all life on Earth, and their numbers have been alarmingly dropping since the invention of the agriculture industry and our dismissal of indigenous permaculture practices and food forests. Taking time to educate ourselves on indigenous practices that were established long before most of our ancestors' existence on this land is the key to us living in harmony with it. Participating in understanding ourselves as part of its ecosystem and restoring health to the land, and in the process restoring ourselves because we are fed from the land, is key to our survival and our thriving. We can look to examples of how to naturalize ourselves to this land from people like the Gullah Geechee. As I continued on my walk along the fields of Vermont, it occurred to me that I didn't know much of anything about dandelions, except that I was pretty sure all parts were edible. The flowers and leaves can be eaten directly. The roots and all parts of the plant are used for tea. This got me thinking, which eventually got me Googling. Did you know dandelions are really important plants?
Yep.
Dandelions are not indigenous to North America. However, they are not a threat to any native plants or animals. They are naturalized plants, as they have been here so long and have made themselves a natural and beneficial part of the ecosystems they exist within. Dandelions were likely brought here on the Mayflower as medicine. Dandelions are good for your lawn. Their wide-spreading roots loosen hard-packed soil, aerate the earth, and help reduce erosion. Dandelion's deep taproot pulls nutrients such as calcium from deep in the soil and makes them available to other plants, nourishing the plants around them. Dandelion leaves are a rich source of calcium and vitamin K that support healthy bones. Studies show that they contribute to a significant increase in bone density and overall bone health. I'm going to bet before we started this talk, you did not anticipate learning more about dandelions. And I am also sure that you will think differently about them the next time you see one. Learning more about dandelions is a great way to show that our dislike of something doesn't make it less valuable, and our lack of knowledge about it makes it easier for us to harm it, ourselves in the process, and our world overall without us even realizing it. It also makes it easier to convince us it is the enemy and should not be liked, trusted, or allowed to flourish, and convince us we should root it out entirely. There are many, many parallels to this in our world.